Hey guys, welcome back to Brian's Train Room. Today I'm here with John Schmidt of Project Roar, and have I got something special to show you. It's a 910 subbase. And not only am I going to show it to you, but we're going to put it together and we're going to run trains around it. I can't wait, and that's coming your way.
With a Lionel train, you not only get locomotives and cars, but all sorts of missile and rocket equipment too.
In the 1930s, Lionel produced one of the biggest trackside accessories ever seen, the 840 Power Station. It was not until the late 50s and into the early 60s that Lionel included in some uncatalogued outfits two very large trackside accessories. The first was the 908 Scenic Station, which is featured on a previous episode. The second is the focus of today's episode, the incredibly rare Lionel 910 subbase. Toys that appealed to youth of the late 50s and early 60s were quickly becoming more space and military based. And Lionel strived to find ways to appeal to these children and offer trains and outfits that aligned with their wants. The atomic age was in full swing, with those submarines in games, on lunchboxes, and on TV. The subbase would fit right in and looked the part, with iconic tower, launch bay, and navy gray colors. The 910 subbase, or as Lionel described it as the 910 Navy Yard display, was only included in 9 uncatalogued outfits between 1960 and 1964. X-515NA from 1960, which was headed by a 45 USMC mobile rocket car. X-625 from 1961 with a 228 Canadian National Alco. X-676 from 1961 with a 45 USMC engine. X-714 from 1961, also headed up by the 45 USMC engine. Outfits numbers 19201-1 and 19201-2 from 1962, which were led by an AB set of 224 Navy Alcos. Outfit number 19203 from 1962, led by a 228 Canadian National Alco. The last two sets were outfit numbers 19311 from 1963 and outfit number 19394 from 1964. These two sets, the first being offered with a 59 Minuteman switcher, and the second offered with another 228 Canadian National Alco, were known to have a percentage of sets substituted with the 908 Scenic Stations instead of the 910 subbases. Unfortunately, the percentage of those substitutions is unknown. The base measures 27.5 inches by 30 inches and reaches nearly 17.5 inches tall. It's big. The set came in a very fragile paper bag and was either included in the set box, which was oversized for it to fit, or distributed with the set with the outfit box denoting the inclusion of the large bag and its contents upon purchase. A complete 910 Navy Yard display contains 10 pieces. The base, with a yellow track deck and blue water bay with Frogman. It unfolds and then used flaps that tucked underneath the base and was secured with tabs to create the risers, which were almost 4 inches high at the rear. The main building, which stands nearly 19 inches tall and says U.S. Navy Atomic Submarine Base Railroad Loading Platform on the sides. The loading dock, which makes one of the underpass sections, so secret cargo could be unloaded without being seen. The bridge, which the submarines would need to go under to get out to sea. It also has both painters with cans of navy gray. A large bay door that would secure the subs during repair or storage. 2 skylights, adding even more height to the main building. And 3 atomic submarines, all of which are different and striped to simulate the camouflage sometimes seen on secret military watercraft. Wow. The subbase had some fascinating details that we discovered during assembly. First, there is no mention of Lionel anywhere on the base, but does say printed in USA, most likely an outside vendor contracted by Lionel. Secondly, there are 2 painters on the bridge, changing the color of the base from yellow to a more navy gray. Thirdly, the frogman in the water inspecting the sub near the front is moored to the sub with a line that continues from the sub to the diver. All these details really make this a spectacular accessory. Hey guys. Okay, so according to Project Roar and the actual order numbers for outfits that could have contained a 910 subbase, that number totals in at around 6,300 outfits. Now, not all of those were subbases because remember the last 2 that they would have come in are known to have substitutions for the 908 station. So because of that, it's believed that approximately 5,000 of the subbases were ordered. Now with 5,000 ordered, you would think that they would come on the market more frequently, but they don't. So how come? Well, there's a couple thoughts to that. The first is, remember, all these came in uncatalogued sets. And so because they were in uncatalogued sets, early collectors really didn't know about these, so there was fewer opportunities for them to maybe have found some of those sets before they got lost to time, document them, and make them more available or readily looked for by collectors. The second is, remember, it was unmarked. It didn't say Lionel anywhere on it. So if a child would have gotten this in the set, would have played with the set, hey, at the end of the season, all the train pieces go in a nice box. That really doesn't fit in the box again, and so that got thrown away. And then all you have is the set, but of course, the actual station or the base is long gone. And then the last has to do specifically to the subbase. Compared to the 908, the subbase is much more challenging to put together, has more pieces, it folds and sort of locks into place, meaning upon assembly and disassembly, there's more chance for sort of pieces to get torn or destroyed or lost. Therefore, the attrition rate on the 910s was significantly higher than the 908s. So as we explore the 910 subbase, put one together and run around the tree, you'll see how special of an accessory this is. Let's check it out.
The 910 subbase came in 9 promotional outfits in the 1960s. I detailed those in my book, The Authoritative Guide to Lionel Promotional Outfits, 1960 to 1969. Before that, it was unknown how many outfits it came in and what it included. Of those 9 outfits, we're going to be showing you 4 of them here today. The 19201-1, the 19201-2, the 19394, and the X515NA. So now we're actually going to take a look inside the X515NA from 1960, one of the first outfits that included a 910 subbase. It came in a rather large box. The reason being is they would pack the subbase inside the box. So let's pop this open and take a look inside this beautiful set. So if we look inside the set, open it up, you got the billboards, the paperwork. In this set was a really neat set. It was headed by a 45-50 mobile rocket firing car. It had a 6830 flak car with submarine. It had a 3419 operating helicopter. It had a 6119 caboose, 943 ammo dump, and a 470-1. Included the track and the crossover, which we'll show you when we put the subbase together. But the most important piece of this outfit was the 910 subbase, which would come packed on the bottom in a bag. That's the X515NA from 1960.
Okay, guys, one of the most important parts of putting your subbase together is knowing how to do it. This is rare enough in itself. This is the instruction sheet for how to set up your Lionel Atomic Submarine Base. Okay, let's go through our instructions. This is very similar in construction, at least the first part of it, to the 908 that I talked about before. The first is, it says to open the ramp out flat, face down on a clean surface. Clean out all the semi-die-cut slots with a table knife. No. Break all scores by folding them over flat. And then you fold the back, which is the high part, and the two sides up and in. Next, fold the 4 remaining flaps over these and snap the tabs on these into the square holes. Now, turn the ramp over. An important aspect too, we'll talk about this part in a second. We're going to come down to this. This is all the components and pieces of the set, and it sort of describes what they are. This is our picture of sort of how it all goes together. You fold the main building, which is this building here, into shape by first folding in the sides and then folding down the top and front and locking all tabs into the slots provided. Attach this to the ramp by folding tabs at the bottom and snapping them into the ramp slots. Attach loading platform B, which is this part here, or this part here actually, all right, to the ramp and the main building in the same manner as indicated. Assemble and attach the 2 skylights to the top of the building here and up here, right? And assemble the bridge and attach it to the ramp as shown. Fold over the nose of the submarines over here and snap them into the slots on the ramp. Then you want to place the door inside the opening of the buildings and attach it to the forcing door tabs into the 2 slots in the front side of the building. Completed setup should look like this, okay? And the forcing door is that other little piece that fits to the main building that we showed you. Then you want to arrange the track. So arrange the track as indicated, placing the inside circle on the ramp with the crossing at the front. Do not screw track into position until buildings are up and you have tested position to make sure trains can pass through the tunnels without bumping. This is very important. This is the instruction sheet on how to set up your atomic submarine base. Okay, so the way that we're going to attack sort of putting this subbase together typically would start with the base sort of upside down or facing downwards, but because of the fragility of this piece, and let me tell you, it's fragile, we're going to sort of put this thing together, sort of tuck it in and provide some supports. We're not going to put the little tabs in, although I will show you how they put in. They're exactly like the 908s. I will show you that, but let's see if we can put this thing together and I'll show you a little bit of the concept of it. So the first step here is you start from the rear, which is the tallest section. Okay, that tallest section is a good 3.5 to 4 inches tall, and it starts to taper down. So you start at the back, and then you work your way towards the front of the ramp or the base of this unit. Once everything's tucked in, that's what's is supposed to provide all the supports for the track and all the pieces of the base. Now, when you put track on it and you put all the pieces and you run a heavy engine around it, you need to have that support. So when we're putting this together and realized how fragile this was, and the reason we're doing it this way is kind of a little bit of the reason why I think very, very few of these have survived. Once you put this thing together once or twice, you could almost see how they would fall apart. This is super cool. This is putting the base together. So we put the main building together kind of a little bit differently or right off the bat, mostly due to the number of tabs and bends. So we weren't quite sure how it would go. So this was certainly a team effort. You can see how they slowly sort of fold. There's a little tab here and a tab there. And we're looking at 70-year-old cardboard or 65, 7-year-old cardboard. So because of that, we just were trying to be real mindful of the sort of biggest piece of the whole set. And so now it's time for us to take that main building and connect it to the base. The way that it works is these tabs line up where it's been folded. They actually very carefully sort of twist, turn, and with some support from under the base, work their way into each, oh wait, not yet. There we go, of the tabs. And the ramp to the door pulls out, and that's locked in position. Whew, that was a project in itself. And that's step one. Okay, so the next side is the loading dock. So the way the loading dock works is you need to build the sort of roof of that, which is where one of the trains go under. And then that roof section then slides up against the main body, the main tower, and the tabs sort of slide in. They don't lock in, but they slide in very nicely. And this creates the first of the portals where the train will come through around your subbase. That's cool. So we're going to start assembling the bridge section. This is one of the other parts where the train goes underneath it. The bridge section, again, has multiple parts that fold and come together. So you have to sort of pre-assemble it, and then you have to work it into the base. And then when you put it on the base, you first slide into this section over here. So the first is we're going to do it over here first. And then it's going to tip into that section. So this has tabs. And it literally sort of pops in there. My section's good. Then you get underneath it? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I'm underneath it to provide a little bit of support to the base. We're in on this side. And we're in on this side. And this, this is the bridge section. So the next section that's going to go on will be the skylights that fit onto the main building. For the main building skylights, They sort of fold on each other and make sort of a triangular shape, where you've got sort of part of it tilts over, and then you have what would be the windows. There's two of them. I'm sort of holding the building together as best I can while it goes together. All the little pieces snap neatly into place. These are the skylights. So now, as per instructions, it says, and attach it to the ramp as shown, and then fold over the nose of the submarines and snap them into their slots on the ramp. There are 3 submarines. The first submarine, sort of the biggest of the submarines, and it's in the rear. The other 2 submarines are about the same size, and according to some promotional photographs, the sub that we have here in the middle, with a little bit larger or more stout periscope, is the center section. And then the thinner or wispier periscope goes in the front. That's the subs. The last step in the assembly is placing door inside opening of the building and attaching it basically by forcing the door tabs into the 2 slots on the front sides of the building. Complete setup should look like this. Okay, while we were a little nervous, we had an absolutely fantastic time, John and I, putting this sub base together. But we're not done. Hey, once you have the base put together, there's only one thing left to do, and that's put some track around it and run some trains. So as per the instructions, you're supposed to create a layout that circles the immediate or the inside part of the sub base and goes through the bridge or under the bridge, and then through the loading dock, and then across a 45-degree crossing or crossover around, fully around the sub base, and then back to the inside part of the loop around the internal part of the sub base. Dude, fire away.
Ah! I pushed my luck.
Okay. Get a little tug, and here she goes. Whoop. Okay, this is how these work.
It's how they don't work.
It's okay. Done. All right, let's do this.
We did such a good job.
original 910 subbase.
Well, it's been a really interesting day and evening here working on the 910 subbase. When I first wrote this book, it's been out 17 years, The Authoritative Guide to Lionel Promotional Outfits, I first learned about subbases because that's the only place they came in was promotional outfits. And I realized actually there was 9 different promotional outfits that subbases came in. So when Brian said he was going to stop by and wanted to shoot a video, I said, you know something, I've never actually put together a subbase. I've seen them. I have one. Here's one right here. But let's try it. So we showed you 4 of the outfits tonight that I have that are in subbases. The other 5 other people have I've seen. So Brian and I sat down and said, you know, let's put this thing together. Well, about 3 or 4 hours later, trying to put this really delicate piece together, all I can say is, wow, this thing is beautiful. If it was Christmas in 1960 and I received this as a child and was able to put this together and get this up and running like Brian and I were able to do today and tonight, I'd say this is one of the greatest things in the world. You know, Lionel in 1960s was trying to be more creative and try and reach a wider audience with the marketplace they had. They came out with stuff like this, the 910 subbase and the 908 station, and it really is a winner. Not only is the subbase just a beautiful thing, the 3 subs, a beautiful piece, but the outfit that they put together with it, the X515NA with the 45 Marine switcher and everything, it was just phenomenal. So I wanted to say thank you for Brian and everything we did, put this thing together and ran it. And once again, Lionel was making joy for families and sons and daughters. And I was, you know, I'm 59 years old, and I was a kid for an entire day today putting this together. I'm actually going to leave this up and continue to run it for a while here because it's just so much fun. So thank you, Brian. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
And cut.
Is that okay? Or you want me to do it again? Or?
I'm 3 hours of sleep.
I know, no joke. That's insane. God, that's awesome. What a great job.
You can come film her anytime.
Shut her down. Good deal.
That was cool.
Oh gosh, that was fantastic. And yes, it was absolutely fantastic filming and operating a 910 subbase. Working with John Schmidt at Project Roar was also an incredible experience, and I certainly hope I get to do it again. I was thinking that there were a number of kids who got these sets as a kid, meaning there may have been a few of you guys who remember getting one of these for Christmas. And hey, by chance, you got a picture? If you do, man, do I want to see it. So if you do, it's brianstrainroom@gmail.com. Feel free to send me an email or an inquiry if you happen to have that. I would absolutely love seeing that. Well, that said, this was an absolutely fantastic episode. I could watch it again and again already, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Thanks again, as always, for joining me on Brian's Train Room.
Lionel Express, all aboard. Look at her streak along the rails. It's a Lionel.